And good morning and welcome to your Wednesday. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and this happens to be things you might have heard, a video or audio podcast, no matter how you're taking in. And that's me talking in the video because I'm prepping and stuff. No matter how you're taking in, thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast, whether you're live or watching the recordings or listening to recordings in the future. Stop by our website, which is thisisaconversationproject.com for more details on all the things we're doing and all the things you can do with us, for us, and things we're doing for you going forward. It saves on the time checking up here. We're a little bit behind in the morning, so let's go ahead and get into the stories. 8 stories in the past 30 hours to get you started for your coffee chats, your news talks in the morning. As your news side piece or tertiary news source, these may not be stories that you picked up the main headline news, and these are some stories that are pretty big that kind of got washed over in other things in some new news formats. But these are some things that are definitely conversational and vetted by you as things that people want to talk about. Starting with the top story, which is the first story for this morning. And it is this one: Migos rapper Takeoff dead at 28, shot in Houston. This is something that happened in the wee earlies in the morning yesterday. So it was coming in as breaking news as things were going on. Migos and Cuomo were at a bowling alley in Houston. Shots went off. And at the aftermath, Takeoff, or Takeoff and Quavo, Migos should say, were there. Had died from gunshot wounds. You can go and read deeper into the story and go deeper in what's going on. It's a lot bigger than just one guy shot at a bowling alley in Houston. It's a little bit bigger than that, and it's sad the way society goes. Although I can't just say do the whole too many guns or too many people shooting or whatever, so like that. Shootings and violence and things like this are complicated issues. They're never as simple as one guy just pulled out a weapon and killed another person with it. So check that out going forward. But Migos, rapper from Migos, Takeoff, is dead at 28. This is a story that will probably get more love on the local levels in areas where, I'll say rap music is popular, as opposed to the other genres where I'm watching news this morning and they're all talking election, of course, because the election is election. So this is probably a bigger story where you are. The biggest story for the day from your engagement here on the interwebs. Also a big story with engagement: Adam Zimmer, former Vikings offensive coordinator and son of Mike Zimmer, dies at the age of 38. Check out the link for this one for more details for this story as well. Very sudden, very out of nowhere. Just really just all of a sudden out of nowhere this happened. And so you can take a look at this story as well for the fuller details on this loss as well. Thoughts and prayers going out to the people who've lost, families of people who've lost lives all over the world, but we're putting out there for Adam Zimmer's family and of course the fans and the family of Takeoff from yesterday. Now to some news that may get some headline conversation. Supreme Court temporarily blocks Congress from getting Trump's income tax returns. This is the fight that's been going on since Trump decided to run for presidency, and everyone always releases the tax returns, and he's like, "No, I'm in an audit. No, I'm in an audit. No, I'm in an audit." To find out that the audit had nothing to do with it, to say, "No, I just don't want to. I don't think so." The problem with this is that Trump has been famous for lying about his finances for all his life. And many autobiographers and people who get a chance to see the inside of his books know what he's really worth and have their whole non-competes for what they can say about them, non-disclosure agreements, what they can say about them. A tax return is a pretty obvious source of what he gets back. He is famously known to get back a whole lot of money because he famously is known to write down a bunch of stuff to essentially pay no taxes, which means he's worth a lot less than he says he is, which is what everyone has been saying for many, many years. We'll see if this block gets undone, and if we finally get a chance to see Trump's taxes, 6 years after it matters and 2 years so far after he's been the president. Ultra-MAGA Hot Babe, who claimed Obama is a Illuminati lizard, and a lot of people who do that, but she's just one of them, turns out to be a Chinese spy. Remember the lady in red, I think they call her, the lady that was on all the conservative type of conferences and taking pictures with folks and all these things like that, and turns out that she was a spy? Same thing here. There's a essentially a mole in the operation, a Chinese spy who's helping to spread the disinformation and making the ultra MAGA folks look really, really dumb by falling for it. Now, not there's not necessarily spies in the other parties. Everybody says that Tulsi Gabbard's been a spy for about 20 years. It happens, and it's serious, and it's something we should look into. But when you find out that people are out there spreading information and people are following it, and then you find that those people that are spreading information are literally in other camps trying to destroy us, you're supposed to step back and take some perspective and kind of reflect on what goes on. Unfortunately, for the MAGAs, the ultra MAGAs, if you will, it's time to double down. That's what they do. Chris Cuomo and Dan Abrams mock New York Post NewsNation. That should be NewsNation article in there. I'm not sure how I got clipped in the editing, but yesterday we had a story about Chris Cuomo saying he wants the 9 p.m. time slot because his slot sucks and ratings are going down, and he came there to do some damage, and he wants his old slot back, even though he's on a station that has a third of the viewership as his previous point, and he was getting slaughtered there. Last night, or night before, if you will, Chris Cuomo and Dan Abrams mock the Post's a write-up on NewsNation saying they ain't no beef. There's no beef. Nothing going on between them. Good friends, very cordial, like working together. And Chris Cuomo is happy to be where he is, where it's going on. And Dan Abrams is good where he is because he's always been there. He's been the 9 o'clock guy the whole time. Chris Cuomo was not trying to be the 9 o'clock guy. He's just trying to do his thing and be cordial. So it was a cordial back and forth, saying there really was no issue going back and forth. We shall see if there are issues going back and forth. Costco is selling a $60,000 piece puzzle, not $60,000, but a puzzle with 60,000 pieces in it, and it's nearly 30 feet long. Now, where will you put this puzzle together? I have no idea, but Costco is these warehouse stores are known for selling big things that no one actually buys. It's not like getting the Neiman Marcus and the Tiffany's catalog for Christmas for you get the dollhouse that's $10,000. Although someone could probably buy it, no one's actually expected to. This puzzle is something you can put out for your community event because, as it said, it's about 30 feet long. You need plenty of space to work on it. I don't have 30 feet in my house to do this puzzle, so my women won't be getting this one for Christmas, but they'll probably ask for it a lot. Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico 2020 get married. That is the headline. Two former Miss Universe contingent pageant peoples, Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico, have officially gotten married because you can do that these days. If you have a problem with it, then you have a problem with it because you can do that these days. If you don't have a problem with it, then you're fine because there's no problem for two famous people, two beauty queens, two people who are in a big contestant pageant who understand the pressures of what's going on, and just two ladies in general to tie the knot. It's just basically for tax purposes anyway, it is what it is. Powerball prize soars to $1.2 billion after no winner is found on Monday. Today is Wednesday, so you've got hours to get your ticket. At least $1.2 billion will be the prize winner for the main prize, which boils down to about $400 to $500 million on the lump sum after taxes, which is where you want to go because it's something called loss of time and money. You don't want to get that annuity because while you will get close to $1.2 billion over 20 years, if you get 500 now, you can use a lot of damage with that 500 instead of waiting for all that money all this time. It's not like a paycheck and it loses the luster, i.e. the amount of money, price of money. Now I'm talking, economics, so it's there. But yeah, get the lump sum if you win. Remember, I'm getting a ticket tonight, but I'm not going to win. You should get some tickets. You're not going to win. None of us that know each other will win. Someone will win eventually. It's not going to be us. That's how it goes. The teaser story for tomorrow, we may talk about this one if you deem this one interesting enough. We want this one. 1 in 5 deaths in U.S. adults 20 to 49 is from excessive drinking, study shows. Now, it's a bit more complicated than just people drinking themselves to deaths. This is also dealing with people dealing with drunk driving deaths and people who get serious illnesses from alcohol that are related to alcohol. It's not just I drink a bunch and just kind of passed out. So it's there. But we can talk deeper about this study released a few hours ago, basically, if you want to, by you just going to our feeds and voting it up. The conversation is found at facebook.com/this is a conversation project and conversation and twitter.com/th_conversation. Check us out. Let us know what stories you want to talk about. Like them, love them, hate them, share them, engage with them. And if this is one, let us know. let's also not tease. Let's get real serious for a minute and talk about money, because we don't tease about money and making money. Fundrise has allowed me to make money in this year in my investments into the platform. Fundrise is a platform that allows you to invest in real estate just as if you're investing into a mutual fund or a stock fund. It's you put in some money and someone manages the portfolio, and they are doing well this year. Yes, there's a bit of a downturn at the moment, but let me tell you something. I'm up about 2% in my money this year. And it's not, I'm not betting the farm on it, but I'm up 2% in gains for the year since I started in January with Fundrise. Now, I started before I even started doing the advertisement, so I'm happy with that. And at the beginning of the year, things were great. Now, things are not looking as hot, but 2% growth over the year, my first year doing this, is better than 0% or negative like my stocks are. My stocks are down about a third, and that's a big thing. But this is up slightly, so we're going to keep on rolling with this one. Check it out at thisistheconversationproject.com/fundrise. Understand what you're getting into, and yes, you could lose money, and chances are next year the market will be down a bit, but this is a long-term type investment, so check it out. See if it's good for you. An affiliate link, so we get a little bit back for you stepping up to check in the actual goods at Fundrise. So now we're going to go to a quick review of our main website, which is thisistheconversationproject.com. Stop by the website for more details on things we do every single day, things we do every single week, and things we do as periodically as we can, plus some things we want to do that we hadn't quite figured out time-wise to get to yet. It's been a busy 2020. 2023, we're trying to open things up to be more expansive with our program and programs under the Conversation Project, but you can see what's there. You can also stop by the website and see ways you can help us keep these things going. You can give us input, you can give us direct money, you can visit other sponsors, and just be a part of the club at thisistheconversationproject.com. Today, things you might have heard about start off with birthdays. For November the 2nd, we were celebrating the birthdays of Stephanie Powers. You may remember her from Heart to Heart back in the 80s. She is 80 on the day. David Schwimmer from Friends is 56 years old on today, and Camaro Brown turning 42 today. The best day to celebrate today is Cookie Monster Day. And did you know that Cookie Monster's real name is Sid? His name is Sid. They just call him Cookie Monster because he eats lots of cookies. It's a slang name. It's like calling, it's like The Rock. His name is Dwayne, but they call him The Rock because it turned into a thing from him being in the wrestling. It is what it is. Cookie Monster Day. Celebrate the man, the myth, the puppet, the legend, the blue guy by grabbing some cookies and chomping them down at extreme speeds without even thinking about your life and safety. It's Cookie Monster Day. A guy in London, Ontario says he's been playing the same game of Dungeons and Dragons since he was 14, 40 years ago. Based out of Robert Wabaugh's basement, people from all around the country gather each week to join in the decades-long campaign. And with over 30,000 miniatures and dozens of terrains, Warhaw has kept the game fresh and exciting, adding to the everlasting adventure. When he's not acting as Dungeon Master, Warhaw is a history professor at the Western University of London, Ontario. Dungeons & Dragons is hot again, mostly due to Stranger Things. I mean, the thing has never gone away. It's always been there. The Stranger Things is because of the tie-ins to the 80s and Dungeons & Dragons and the demonic stuff that you get from, the Upside Down. It's been a resurgence of people playing it in real life. And on the internet, there are people who play it on who ever watch lines. Now, if you've ever played something like this, not just got on a video game and sort of shot around with pixels, actually played a tabletop campaign, you know that despite the people being upset about the demonic issues in Dungeons and Dragons, which there really isn't, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and once you really get into it, a lot of people have to be involved in it. If you watch the miniseries for The Thing About Pam, you know that the husband who was the finger was pointed at for killing his wife, basically had a weekly D&D game where he played with a bunch of, basically, people think of them as nerds. They got high and goofed around and played Dungeons and Dragons. That's kind of the sentiment you get for folks like that. But a lot of people that you don't really know are playing these types of games that you can't think of. Settlers of Catan, that's technically a role-playing game, if you will, or based off those types of themes. So if you're one of those things, then chances are you're an actual nerd. So congratulations for that one. Thank you so much for being a part of the show for today. It is Wednesday, November the 2nd, 2022. This edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Stop by the website, as we said, to find out links to our feeds, find out links to things you can do with us. See the bottom there where it says I'd see our sponsors. If you want to sponsor, go to a link and visit one of our sponsors or our partnership link because you think we're giving you value. We do appreciate that. Make sure you're staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task because we need you for the great things you're here for. Whether you're on live for the video, replay video, or the podcast coming down the line, we love you all. Let's do this again for Thursday, why don't we? Thank you so much for doing this one. See you in about 24 hours.